The syntax for modifying an element is similar to the syntax for accessing an element in a list. To change an element, you can use the name of the list followed by the index of the element you want to change, and then provide a new value you want that item to have. For example, let's say we have a list of car makers, and the first item in the list is BMW, right? So let's make the car makers here, and we will create the 5 or 3 items here, so it will be easy to print on the screen. So Honda or BMW here firstly, and then Honda, and then for example like Kia, right? Or Ford. Yes, Ford. That's it. And here we will print the car makers. That's it. And as BMW, Honda, Ford, there is nothing weird in here, right? We didn't change anything or manipulate anything. Now we will write, for example, this car makers from index 0. We will change BMW to Jeep or Dodge here. And as you can see here, we will firstly write print this, and as you can see here, we changed BMW to Dodge, and our new list of car makers doesn't have the BMW inside it. So here we define the list of car makers with BMW as the first element, and then we change the value of the first item to Dodge. And the output shows that the first item has been changed while the rest of the list stays the same. You can change the value of any item in a list, not just the first item. Just remember here. So let's do the same to here. And as you can see here, we changed Ford here to Dodge. And you can also add an element to a list, and you might want to add a new element to a list for many reasons, right? For example, you might want to make a new car makers, add a new data to visualizations, or add a new registered users to a website you build. So Python provides several ways to add a new data to existing lists, and the simplest way to add a new element to a list is to append the item to the list. So when you append an item to a list, the new element is added at the end of the list, and using the same list we had in a previous example, we will add the new element. We will add a new element, for example, Jeep, to our end of the list. So car makers dot append Jeep here, and after that we will print the car makers, and that's it. And here, as you can see here, we added Jeep here. So here we append methods adds Jeep to the end of the list without affecting any other elements in the list. And the append method makes it easy to build the list dynamically. For example, you can start with an empty list and then add items to the list using a series of append calls. Let's do this here. For example, car makers, and here we will create the empty list here, and car makers that append BMW, car makers that append Honda here. Here let's append Jeep here. Append Jeep, and here we will also append the Ford. That's it. Also, of course, we need to print it to show you, and that's it. We created list from 0, and this resulting will look exactly the same as the list in the previous examples, but we changed a little bit here because as you remember, the Jeep was at the last and Ford was firstly here. That's okay. Here a building list this way is very common because you often won't know the data your users want to store in a program until after the program is running. So to put users in control, start defining an empty list that will hold the user's values, and then append each new value provided to the list you just created. Now you can also insert elements to the list, so you can add a new element at any position in your list by using the insert method. So you can do this by specifying the index of the new element and the value of the new item. So we'll create a car makers to don't confuse you, and car makers, and we will make it the BMW, or let's start with Honda. It doesn't make any difference for now because it's variable. So BMW, Honda, and let's make it the Volkswagen, and Jeep here. Let's Fiat here, and Opel here, Saab. That's it. That's okay. That's enough here. So you can add a new element to any position in your list, as I said, by using the insert method. So you do this by specifying the index of the new element and the value of the new item. So for example, car makers here, car makers dot insert. So here we will insert 0. So let's find the new Mercedes here, right? Or let's use some Japanese cars, in this case Lexus, and here we will print the car makers now. And here, as you can see, we changed the Honda to Lexus, but instead, you remember, here we didn't change the Honda here. Honda is still appears here, but we added Lexus here. So instead of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 items, here we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 items. So we added Lexus at the start of the list. So in this example, we insert the Lexus at the beginning of the list, and the insert method opens a page at position 0 and stores the value the Lexus at that location. So this operation shifts every other value in the list by one position to the right. Here, sorry, like, let's get this pen. So here BMW was 3 here. Oops, let's actually get my pen here and make it proper color. Yes. So Honda was 0, BMW was 1, Volkswagen 2, Jeep 3, Fiat 4, Opel 5, and Saab was 6 item in that has 6 index of the list. And here since we added Lexus here, Lexus now is 0, Honda is 1, BMW is 2, Volkswagen is 3, Jeep is 4, Fiat is 5, and Opel is 6. Lastly, that's because we added one item at the start of the list here, and we have the 7 on the sub. So as I said, the this operation shifts every other value in the list one position to the right. We can also remove element from a list. So often you will want to remove an item or set of items from a list. For example, when a player shoots down an alien from the sky, you will most likely want to remove it from the list of active aliens, or when a user decides to cancel their account on a web application you created, and you will want to remove that user from the list of active users. So you can remove an item according to its position in the list or according to its value. Now, if you know the position of the item you want to remove from a list, you can use del statement like this. So we will first print the car makers to make sure what we changed in this list, and we will del here car makers 0. That's it. And after that we will print our car makers. And as you can see here we use the del statement to remove the first item, which is BMW, from the list of car makers. So you can remove an item from any position in a list using the del statement if you know its index. For example, here's how to remove a second item. BMW, or yes, here we remove the Honda here, but in this case we will remove the remove the third item. In this case we will enter the Q, and as you can see here we removed the Volkswagen. So now the third item is deleted from the list. In both examples you can no longer access the value that was removed from the list after the del statement is used.